So, do you actually need fancy equipment to become a better fighter? What I mean by fancy equipment, do you need punch bags? Do you need grappling dummies? Do you need like the double M bag, the speed bag, the spin bars, skipping ropes, weights? There's so many different things you can do now, so many different bits of equipment out there, but do you actually need any of them to become a better fighter? And the answer is no, not necessarily. But of course, everything's always complicated. There's no simple yes or no answers. So let's get into this and let's discuss it. So the two things you actually really need to become a good fighter is one, a good coach to be able to overlook you, teach you the drills you're going to be doing and to make sure you're not picking up bad habits. And number two is decent training partners, sparring partners and partners going through pad work, drills, whatever it is you are doing that day. The reason why, because obviously if I spent all day hitting Bob, I'm going to get my fitness up, yes I've got visual targets, but I've got nothing giving me feedback whatsoever. I've not got a coach overlooking, seeing if I'm making bad mistakes, and I've not got no resistance from Bob. Now, I know they're bringing out new things all the time, like this for example, which is giving me something else to think about, giving me a little bit of feedback, but it's still nowhere near the same. If I practiced all day on this, it might make me a slightly better fighter, but realistically, it's just actually going to make me better hitting the spin bar. So I'll get better using this bit of equipment. Now, all this being said, I'm not saying you shouldn't use bits of equipment. You definitely should, but it is a supplement, and you should never make the excuse of using bits of equipment rather than actually going to a proper class and being taught by someone. If you can get a partner to train with, it's nearly always better than maybe just training by yourself, an experienced partner that is. And the other thing you've got to contend with, which is a little bit of a negative thing to having partners and having classes and that. One, these cost money to go do classes and to have training partners. Two, they're not always going to be there. So sometimes buying a piece of equipment, especially if you have it at home and you can use it whenever you want, can be beneficial. But like I said, just don't use it instead of doing your actual training. Now, doing something is always going to be better than doing nothing at all. Just like when you can't train if you're injured, watching YouTube videos to get better advice and tips, that's always going to be a little supplement to help you with. Just like if you can always get hold of a bit of equipment and you're still trying to do your other stuff, then it's always beneficial to do it. When you get a new bit of equipment, it is quite exciting. When you've been training for a long time like I have, sometimes it can get a little bit boring training. But when you get a new bit of equipment, it can help relight your fire and your passion for doing the training. The only analogy I could kind of think of is people who do weightlifting. Hear me out. If you've got an average person who goes to the gym, they've got an average diet, blah, 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 and they lift weights, eventually they're going to build muscle. But if you've got the same person doing the same thing, going to lifting weights, but they take supplements such as protein powder and creatine and other different things like this, then they're going to build muscle quicker. So kind of the same like with a fighter. If a fighter is just doing these classes and doing his sparring and just working out with training partners, then he's going to learn how to fight. But if he adds in more work behind the scenes, such as working on the punch bag, working on different bits of equipment, grappling dummies, double M bags, things along these lines, when he can't always train with his partner and he's doing that extra mile, then he should potentially be able to become a better fighter quicker. So just like the bodybuilder using the supplements with the protein powder, a fighter should be using the supplements as if in taking advantage of being able to use a punch bag and different bits of equipment like that. Now, just like the bodybuilder, if he just took protein and supplements and never really went to the gym, then he's not really going to get anywhere. And it's exactly the same, with the fighter. If the fighter's just hitting a punch bag all the time, or working out on different bits of equipment, which is giving him no resistance, no feedback, he's not really actually going to be able to get anywhere with it. So, the point to take away from this video is using fancy bits of equipment is good, but just don't always use it over training partners or training with a coach. So I'll be also making a video on all the different bits of equipment and the benefits you can use for martial arts. For example, this round punch bag is brilliant for practicing your uppercuts and your elbows. So make sure you subscribe to check out that video. As well, let me know in the comment section which is your favourite bit of equipment, and I can make sure I can do a video on that. As well, in the description you will find a link to Amazon where you can buy all the different bits of equipment you have seen in this video today. If you're a beginner fighter, check out this playlist for some awesome tips for beginner fighters.